for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. I'm Steven Jodderin in Wisconsin, Armand Kafai down in Texas, and Jake Watroba in Minnesota. We are once again delayed by a day because Armand decided to go to the Byron Nelson to check out the interesting sport that golf is.
Yeah.
How was it, Armand?
I got to see Jordan Spieth in person, but he was awful. I got a little burnt, paid for an overpriced hot dog, but I got a cool hat, and it was half off. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. And also, I just can't stand golf. I think I'm at that point where I'll play, as like a business meeting or something like that, but I can never watch it again because it was so boring.
How did Tiger look? Was Tiger playing yesterday?
No.
Well, what was the point? Why did you even go?
Why did you go?
Listen, I got free tickets, and I was like, let me go, because, like, first off, it's the Byron Nelson. Who doesn't go to Byron Nelson?
Me?
Well, yeah, Me? But you get the point. And it was an interesting experience. I learned a lot from older gentlemen and gentlewomen who I think personally probably think soccer is boring, but they enjoy golf, which I can't even begin to comprehend how stupid that is.
Did you know that the lowest score wins, Armand? Did you learn that? Is that what they taught you?
No, I knew that, man. This guy like a minus 20 or something, and he won. I was like, damn, it's a really good score. This course is really easy or something.
Yeah. Anyway, on this episode, we're talking news and notes regarding U.S. soccer, the counterattack with Jake Watroba, and then Henry Bushnell of Yahoo will join us to talk some World Cup, give us some previewing as we inch closer to the greatest tournament on the planet. Boys, let's begin with this. Reaction to the U.S. men's national team roster. All right, moving on. MLS expansion.
Wait.
Okay, seriously, that's how little I care about the roster. But, Armand and Jake, I'll let you have the floor for about 30 seconds to talk about the U.S. men's national team and the friendlies that are coming up.
All right, so I'll take the first 30 seconds. Cool that a friend of the show, Keaton Parks, got called up to the national team.
Yes, huge congratulations.
Huge congratulations to him. He's been through a lot. I mean, outside of that, I don't think we even in 2014 was Pulisic even a thing.
Nope, that was really Copa America where I thought Pulisic really shined, and I remember.
So I mean, I guess it's pretty worthless, except it's gonna be entertaining to watch a kid from the same area we grew up in.
Yeah, but we can say that about Kellen Acosta, and he's been on the national team.
Yeah, man, but Kellen Acosta isn't a friend of the show yet. So.
That's true. Yet. Key word, yet.
So we'll try to bring him on. I mean, outside of that, yay. I don't know what do you want me to say? Like, I genuinely am very indifferent. I think it's cool, but they're not even the same head coach. Like, come on. There's nothing to be excited about except, oh, yay, young players, woo,
You know, I don't understand.
Woo.
I don't understand all the, like, well, on NBC Sports or ESPN or whatever soccer outlet you go to, breakdown of the U.S. men's national team right here. I'm sitting there going, like, what can you make of it? Nobody, like, you could tell where the kids played at, maybe his career path, blah, 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 maybe a little bit of projection, like, you might see him more like Keaton Parks. You probably see him more regularly with Benfica. He's going to go travel and do the off-season stuff with the A-team. Great. But other than that, you're not going around saying, yeah, well, this kid's going to be here in 2 years and that kid's going to be there and watch for this partnership. It's all a bunch of BS, and quite frankly, I think we're going to lose at least 2 out of 3 games. France is going to be good, and Ireland is going to be pretty damn good. Because you know why? Because they qualified for the World Cup.
Wow, you guys are so negative.
How can you not be negative?
You know what I'm looking forward to the most of when I saw the roster? The resurrection of Julian Green.
That's your boy right there, Jake.
Who? Am I the only one who laughed when I saw his name on the?
I honestly didn't notice. I didn't notice his name until you mentioned it. I was like, wait, he got called up.
Yeah, I did a double take. I'm like, wait, what the hell? Julian Green? Why is he on? What? Isn't he in third division, like the third division in Germany or something, or the fourth division in Germany? What?
Something like that.
I mean, wherever he is, we don't know. And
did you notice they only called up 2 forwards? But I think it's just for a match because they did mention they want to make a lot of changes before the June friendlies. So I mean, they might be there for a couple of weeks.
Oh, who cares? Let's move on. Honestly, let's just move on. Let's talk about some real stuff. Actually, huge news from Nashville's Major League Soccer club. Ian Ayre is the first CEO of the club. Now, I'm reading from the Tennessean by Joe Rexrode. Ayre, who was voted Premier League Chief Executive of the Year in 2017, spent a decade building that club, Liverpool, on and off the field, and has signed on to do the same for Nashville MLS. Let me just say, Nashville, a round of applause to you. What a great hire. What a significant hire for the club. They're taking this for real. I think they're going to try as hard to replicate everything that Atlanta has done.
I would agree,
yeah, I would say so. They're backed. The ownership is backed by Ziggy Wilf, who owns the Minnesota Vikings. You know, they got that NFL money behind them. I don't see why they wouldn't do the same thing.
I mean, it's a thing to replicate. I mean, look the success that Atlanta's had with their 40,000 average crowd and the excitement and the potential, the things they've done in MLS so far. I mean, why wouldn't you want to replicate it? And the first step is bringing in these executives, which I think when they come into MLS, they have a lot of fun. They're
absolutely. Now let me continue.
I think it's fun.
Let me continue reading. Liverpool ownership tried to convince Ayre to stay when he announced in 2016 his plan to transition out, according to the Daily Mail. He took over TSV 1860 Munich in 2017, but left the job after a few weeks because of what he termed warning factions within the ownership group, resulting in financial promises unfulfilled. So he returned to Liverpool and waited. Now, he has detractors, including Liverpool fans who staged a walkout because of a ticket price hike, and per quick search on Twitter, it seems some Liverpool supporters have blamed him for everything but cloudy days in England. Let me ask you guys, Liverpool, they've trended upward in the last, I would say, decade, right?
I mean, they're pretty good right now, right? Where are they playing on Saturday? I think they're playing some important game. Not sure which one.
I don't know.
Is it I don't know which one. I mean, it seems like a really important game.
I think it's the U.S. Open Cup.
No, it's the CONCACAF Champions League.
No, you guys, it's the UEFA Super Cup. It's the you know that one?
Oh, no, it's the Johnson Paints Trophy.
Wow, you're going deep. They're playing for the Champions League final. Of course, they've turned upward. I mean, if you had detractors, man, shoot, your team is in the Champions League final, and apparently he was one of the guys who helped bring in Klopp, and now he's coming to MLS.
They're gonna go after a big manager. I'm convinced more so than ever that I think Arsene Wenger will somehow end up in MLS, whether it's with the LA Galaxy or even Nashville.
Would Sam Allardyce count as a big-time manager? Because that dude has been linked to MLS for so many different vacancies.
He's been linked with the U.S. men's national team. I still want him with the national team. That's just my 2 cents on it. But I think this is brilliant for MLS, and this is brilliant for Nashville because they're taking it serious. And they're putting a soccer guy in charge. There's an MLB club or one of the NBA clubs who has a backwards, but they're run by not people from that sport. I don't know who it is, but there's an MLB club who's run by like with football guys, or the Cleveland Browns are ran by a bunch of baseball guys.
The Cleveland Browns are run by the guy who basically founded Moneyball, or at least they were. But anyway.
Paul Podesta, yeah.
And his role is going to be similar to Liverpool, as he is quoted for saying, "I will manage all aspects of the team, the business side and the soccer side." So congratulations, Nashville. You get an A++ with this.
We're rating teams now?
Yes. MLS Week 12. Ibra got a red card after he stepped on Montreal Impact's Michael.
No, he didn't step on him. He slapped him in the face.
No, after getting stepped on by Michael and proceeded to slap him. Is the Ibra experiment becoming a problem?
Yes. It's not as easy as I think he thought it would be. It's a lot more physical, and in this league, they don't respect him. I talked to Kellen Acosta actually after the FC Dallas game. He was saying along the lines of, look, like, he has to respect us. Like, we're not going to just fall over and let him do whatever he wants. Like, we demand his respect, basically, is what he was saying. And I think a lot of teams are starting to do that. I mean, you saw in the Houston game, Romel Kyoto, tried to get Ibra ejected by shoving him and doing really weird head antics on the corner. So, I mean, people want to frustrate him. They want to send him off. And Ibra is falling for the bait. He hasn't been scoring that much. He's struggled to get opportunities. So, I mean, I think it's kind of just Ibra's kind of like, damn, I think it's a lot harder than I thought. I think we talked about that last couple episodes ago with Kevin Baxter.
Yeah, LA Galaxy did end their 4-game losing streak. Ola Kamara, by the way, I'm going to go off on a quick tangent. He's a great sign. That Zardes Kamara trade has ended up really good for both sides. Yes. Jake, Ibra, do you think he's going to last his contract at the LA Galaxy? And if so, what gives first, him or something else? I mean, what are the Galaxy going to do? I think they're going to get rid of Ziggy Schmidt pretty soon.
I think he'll last. I think he first and foremost, he's struggling because to deal with the constant losing, with the exception of today. And I think he's struggling with the fact that his teammates aren't to the quality that he's used to when he's playing with, Barcelona, AC Milan, Inter, PSG, and Man United. So I think he's struggling with those two things right now. I think eventually Ibra will figure it out. There probably is a learning curve. But yeah, it kind of a dumb foul today. I don't know why he decided he needed to slap some guy in the back of the head.
There's VAR.
I know.
It's not like he could have gotten away with it. Like, they were going to review it regardless. It's just such a bonehead play by a guy.
Frustration. Plus, he gets to sit on the bench for a game. I think Galaxy are a little stressed out because they want to perform so well for Ibra and expect to play one style. That I think sometimes nerves catch up with some of the players, especially the youngsters. And then whoever the Galaxy are playing, it's Ibra, so you're going to step up your game. Like, you want to be like, look at me, like, I want to take down Ibra, right? So
yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. I mean, come on. Like, Ibra did the foul and did the slap in the face, but Petrarca knew exactly what he was doing in that instance. They were trying to frustrate him.
By the way, I just want to applaud Petrarca for that dive too, when he got slapped in the head. Because if you saw it, he got hit, grabbed his ear, and it was kind of like, oh, what was that? And then all of a sudden just fell to the ground.
And then Zlatan falling down too at the same time. That was hilarious.
After he realizes, oh no, I'm probably gonna get a red card for this.
You know who else did that? It was actually in the Atlanta United Red Bull game when Greg Garza got that red card. You see him fall down, hold his shoulder. I mean, hopefully his shoulder is fine, but as soon as he made the challenge, he just fell down, and it was just I don't know. It was kind of. I mean, hopefully he's not injured. It was kind of funny. He's just lying down. The ref was just waiting for him to get up to give him a red card.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Some interesting scores from this week 12 in MLS. New York Red Bulls 3, Atlanta 1, Minnesota United 1, Sporting KC 1, Portland 2, LAFC 1, NYCFC 4, Colorado 0, TFC 2, Orlando 1. Let me ask you boys, who is the best right now in MLS?
Jake, I'm going to take this because I just wrote about this for this first part. Red Bulls. Red Bulls are the best team in MLS right now. And there's the way Jesse Marsch, first of all, he's linked with the Leipzig Red Bull. And so is Tyler
We'll talk
Adams.
about that, by the way. We will get to that.
And he just knows, like, just tactically how to set up teams for games. I mean, the way they played Atlanta looked flustered. They looked frustrated. They struggled to press. And basically the press, what they did was they made Guzan into a distributor, and Guzan can't distribute at all. So it just kept forcing turnover after turnover after turnover. You didn't see Atlanta really get on the break. And you saw Red Bull minimize NYCFC. They grinded out a win against the Galaxy. They've gotten this Red Bull 2 setup going really well. I mean, I feel like every single time you say Red Bulls are doing good, they end up losing, like, in some heartbreaking way. But, like, they look like the best team in MLS in my eyes, and currently I don't think I see anything that can change that in the foreseeable future.
They got further than Seattle, and Seattle's crapped themselves in the league regarding the CONCACAF Champions League, and compared them to Toronto. I mean, Toronto's been hit with injuries, but it seems like the Red Bulls have got their act together and have done really well post-CONCACAF Champions League. But Jake, I don't know, do you think the New York Red Bulls are the standalone best team right now in Major League Soccer?
I don't know if they're the standalone best team in Major League Soccer. I would say right now, as of today, they are the best team in Major League Soccer. Now, like you said, TFC, they have some injuries right now. You know, if they get healthy, how does that change the landscape of MLS? Atlanta, while Red Bull really took it to them yesterday and really, handled them, I think Atlanta is still one of the best teams in MLS. It's an interesting question to look at right now, but I would say as of today, Red Bull have to be looked at as the top dog in the league.
Well, and I'd like to mention this real quick, Steven. Against Chivas, it wasn't like Marsch didn't set them up for success. They were set up for success in that game. They just couldn't finish opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I don't know if that's necessarily on Marsch. He got them into those opportunities with the way they set up the team. I would say it's maybe a little bit more on the players. Just the way Marsch has been coaching, I just feel like he sees the game differently than many managers in MLS.
Yeah, I mean, Armand, we were texting back and forth earlier this weekend, and I mean, we basically decided. I mean, Jesse Marsch is probably the best coach in MLS, maybe second best coach in MLS right now.
Yeah, I mean that's
for sure top three.
That's my thought process behind it, because I like his ambition too. He's going out trying to get the UEFA licenses, and he's doing those.
All right, enough about Marsch. We'll get to Marsch. We'll get to Marsch. I promise you.
Oh yeah, I need to get my Marsch soapbox.
We'll get to him. If you look at the standings, there are games to be played, so you can't look at the points, but you can look at points per game. And it's the Red Bulls who have the highest points per game at 2.1. Atlanta's at 2.08. NYCFC's at 2. If you look to the Western Conference, Sporting KC is at 2. The LAFC, who's in second place Western Conference, is at 1.82. The East is significantly better than the West. It's crazy to think about. If you look at FC Dallas' 17 points, which is fourth in the Western Conference. Yes, give or take games in hand and all that stuff. That's fourth for the West. That, depending on how they do the tiebreakers, that either is on the right side of the playoffs or on the wrong side. That's how much better the East is compared to the West if you look at points alone currently. Granted, that is a little bit inflated. The statistic is a little inflated because of games in hand and blah, 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 tiebreakers. You can't do it. But points per game, Red Bulls are number one. Now, let's talk about the Red Bulls, because they have some transfer rumors that I think will significantly impact their season in MLS. Tyler Adams is rumored, this was reported by Christian Dyer from the Metro. We've had him on the show, by the way. He's linked, closing in on a deal with RB Leipzig. That is the team that were promoted to the Bundesliga 2 seasons ago and finished second to Bayern Munich, competed in the Champions League. Actually, their coach just left, so Jesse Marsch is also linked with them. So let's talk about this move. Is it good for Adams? 100% yes.
Oh, yes. It's without a doubt, especially because Leipzig likes developing and playing a young talent. It'd be a fantastic move, especially to a team like Leipzig who is good. I mean, let's be honest here. They finished, I think, 4th in the Bundesliga. Correct me if I'm wrong.
6th.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know, to be honest.
They're for sure playing in the Europa League next year.
Yes.
Okay, so it's 5th or 6th. And he's just I think he's just a great young player, and you get to play on a team that gives you opportunities. Thanks, Steven. That plays in the Bundesliga, and the Bundesliga gives Americans opportunities. We've seen that with Weston McKennie and Pulisic. I think it's a no-brainer if he has the offer.
Sorry, I agree with Armand. Like you said, look at all the Americans that are playing right now in the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga, I don't know what it does compared to England or Spain, but it seems to be working in terms of developing young American talent. And it's not like he's going to a bottom feeder Bundesliga club. It's not like he's going to Wolfsburg or something like that. He's going to Leipzig. He's going to play European football. And I'm just so happy that we are now at a point in American soccer now where our players are now recognizing I got to get to Europe if I want to just better myself. It seems like there's more Tyler Adams and Christian Pulisic than there are Jordan Morrises.
What do you think the wage is going to be because of the Red Bull link? Do you think there's a discount?
Like on transfer, you mean?
Yeah, the transfer fee. I'm a little worried that Red Bulls are going to get fleeced of a...
I mean, were we worried about that with Manchester City and Harrison? They came out and said that I think they either matched the highest offer or they... I mean, this is their word against what we think. So obviously they could be lying, but what they said was I think they matched it or they made it even a higher offer for Harrison. I mean, there might be a potential for a discount or something, but I mean, hopefully that isn't the case because then again you have just kind of a weird, I guess, a conflict of interest of sorts in terms of that.
I'm interested to know what the compensation is going to be. Plus, think about it. Tyler Adams is a homegrown kid, so Red Bulls are going to reap all the benefits.
100%.
Yep, which is fantastic. Furthermore, they're probably going to... I think he's going to make a move. If he's the player we think he is and his growth through the years with the U.S. men's national team and Red Bulls, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a move to a Premier League club or somewhere even bigger in the Bundesliga, command a bigger wage. Then you can have that add-on of, give us 5% of whatever that future fee is going to be. So
I don't see that now, but potentially in the future, yes.
All right, let's talk about Jesse Marsch. You've already chatted. Armand, you love this move.
I absolutely love it. He's a fantastic manager. He just looks at like I said earlier, he looks at the game differently. I think if not the best manager, if not second best, I'd probably, just for pedigree's sake, put Vanny either ahead of him or 1A, 1B, because Vanny did take the team to the CCL final and took him to MLS Cup 2 years in a row. But Marsch, just the way he sets up the teams, he plays it like a tactical chess match. I mean, you've seen the team run a 3-6-1. They really embrace the high press. They really embrace that younger player of sorts, which is a part of the Leipzig mentality of playing those younger players. And I think he's a manager in MLS that's most suited to go to Europe. I mean, I don't see anyone else that genuinely can go to Europe, any managers at least, that can go to Europe right now and potentially be successful. I think Marsch is the only guy out of all the 22 managers that can be in that position and be ready and get that team to a successful spot. Now, will it be a jump? Absolutely. It'll be a big jump from MLS to the Bundesliga. But I think he can handle it, and I think the way he sets up the team is just on another level compared to anyone else in the league. I mean, Jake, I don't know. Do you think the same thing?
No, I do, because if you look at, Red Bull roster, they're not a team that's built like Atlanta or LAFC where you have all this star power.
Superstars, yeah.
Exactly. You have, I don't know if lesser known parts is the right phrase to use, but you have this group of players that aren't household names that he's able to put together and make him one really, really good cohesive unit, and it shows. They are a top team in MLS year in and year out under him. And the other thing too is, you mentioned about his willingness to work with young players. I mean, that's going to bode very well for him too over at Leipzig, considering they also like to churn out talent.
He's a fantastic coach, and it's one of those things that, if you look at it from a Red Bull standpoint, I don't know how their season's going to last. Because he's going to have to leave in the middle of the season. Am I wrong? Because they're going to hire him during the preseason.
And this great segue. Patrick Vieira is also close on the deal with Nice in Ligue 1 after reportedly getting snubbed by Arsenal, or Arsenal made the call, but he was pissed that they didn't offer it to him.
Something like that.
NBC, I read something that NYCFC is desperate to retain Vieira. He even insisting he's the successor to Pep Guardiola at City.
I think that's part of the reason why they want to keep him, though.
Yes.
I think City Football Group do believe that he is the successor behind Guardiola. Remember, he was a U18, U21, one of the two coach at Man City before coming to NYCFC. I think they genuinely do think that. And they don't know how many years Guardiola is going to be left. But what if Guardiola decides to stay longer? Then Vieira missed out on his chance. So it's kind of like one of those things to where you can say that, but Vieira is going to do whatever's in his best interest.
Didn't Guardiola just sign a new extension through 2022 or 2021?
Somebody want to fact check that? Jake, fact check.
You're off by a couple of years. You're off by a year or a couple of years. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I mean, if you look at it, first off, if NYCFC loses Vieira, what do we make of them? I don't know.
I don't know either, but they won't have a. But here's the thing, though. I mean, NYCFC, they won't have a hard time getting another big name manager to
right, because of the Man City
there.
affiliation. Yeah,
right. So I don't know. I don't know if it's all doom and gloom for them if they lose Patrick Vieira. Maybe for this season it might be, but beyond, probably not. They should be fine.
Well, beyond, I think NYCFC's in better hands than RB Red Bulls.
RB Red Bulls.
What did I say? NY Red Bulls. Sorry, I'm so used to saying RB Leipzig.
RB Red Bull. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. But I think you're right. Because what options look at to hire? I mean, honestly, if Oscar Pereira was a free agent and Marsch had left, I think he'd fit in perfectly with the Red Bulls with their whole mentality of the Red Bull 2 and all that stuff. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who you'd put in that position. And I think if you're Red Bull New York, you're just like, come on, please don't leave. Especially because the timing's gonna be awful. You're gonna lose them in the middle of the season. So that means you have to make you have to find an interim coach. You have to make that mid-season adjustment. All these players, all this stuff, it'd be a terrible move for New York, but if it happens, it happens. So they must have a contingency plan or something going. Both New Yorks.
Well, they both better have a backup plan, because if both managers leave, the squads are going to be a little bit screwed. I feel bad for David Villa, because I think this is the first time where the squad actually is built to succeed in the playoffs and beyond. Think about it, they also have the CONCACAF Champions League that they could qualify through the little rule change that they have because of the way they redid CONCACAF. They're in top spot, or one of the top two seeds to qualify for that. Would have been interesting to have Vieira there to coach them through that. But it's a big MLS club. I think they'll attract somebody. That's another club that I think Arsene Wenger would go to.
I'll give you a name to watch in that NYCFC job if Vieira leaves. Arteta.
I was about to say the same thing, Jake. About to say the same thing, because
it makes perfect sense. He's already at City. City could say, all right, well, you didn't get the Arsenal job. they could give, if there was that deal with Vieira to be the successor to Guardiola, you could tell Arteta, hey, go to New York for 2 or 3 seasons and then come back, and we'll make you'll be the guy after Guardiola leaves.
But Arsenal
it makes perfect sense. Okay, and they hired someone else.
Well, that guy's gonna last 6 months before his head's gonna be called for.
Allegedly. But if he doesn't, I mean, if you're Arteta, I would take the opportunity and go.
Yeah, absolutely. These are really interesting names. I think Wenger, Arteta, great names because Red Bulls have this weird Arsenal link. Remember, Red Bulls have played at that Emirates Cup a couple of times.
Well, they have the Thierry Henry link there too between Wenger and Red Bull. So, I mean, another thing too about Marsch going to Germany, it just raises the profile of MLS and New York Red Bull too. In a way, it would suck for Red Bull, but you're just raising the profile of your club, and that just makes it so much easier to attract talent worldwide. And
the whole system, man, like especially like Red Bull 2, the Red Bulls, the whole academy. I mean, all that stuff gets a giant boost, especially if Adams leaves too as a part of that. If they both leave, all of a sudden you're like, shoot, the Red Bulls just sent off a guy to go to the Bundesliga, which is like Dallas when they didn't send off, but they lost out McKennie to Schalke. And now their coach is gone too. That's an indication of their system, and other clubs taking notice of MLS.
MLS needs to be in that place.
It's a well-run machine up there for both New York clubs, whether we like it or not. They're both well-ran, and it's starting to show. We don't have the time to get to the other talking points, but I wanted to. Joe Hart is linked with NYCFC.
No.
Wayne Rooney was featured as a player on a website.
It's probably it looks like a done deal. I think from that. I mean, I saw what you're talking about. He was linked on the MLS website for like merchandise and said, "Welcome Wayne Rooney," blah 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 blah. And then he's like, "Yeah, it's probably a done deal."
And Alexi Lawless says there's nothing wrong with supporting El Tri for the World Cup in an interview with Complex. Yes or no? Quickly, 30 seconds for both. Do you agree with Lawless?
Yes, there's nothing wrong with it, but. Lawless is just saying that I think because like the network, I guess. Or something
network.
Like that.
It's all network. I don't think he believes it.
I don't know. I think he heard what I said last week about how much it must kill him to say that for the yeah, he heard it, and now he's doubling down. And I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm not going to pull for Mexico. That's not the team I'm going to watch at the World Cup. But I mean, if that's what Lawless wants to do, more power to him, I guess.
Anyway, up next is the Counterattack with Jake Watroba.
Fast-paced, shifty movement, brilliant skill. It's the Counterattack with Jake Watroba.
It's counterattack time. Jake Watroba. We got Armand. We got Steven. I'm going to present you guys with... I got 2 topics this week. 2 topics, okay?
All right. I'm excited.
We'll dive right in. So, late last week, the U.S. men's national team unveiled their preliminary roster for a set of friendlies, starting with Bolivia. I'm not sure when that match is. Is it next week or this week?
Next Monday.
There you go. However, that is not the point of this discussion. Ooh. What also was released last week was the FIFA World Rankings.
Oh, I know where. Yes, number 6 in the world. The Swiss.
Yes, Switzerland is number 6 in the world, while Armand's Iranian squad is 36th. However, that is not what we're discussing today.
Oh, damn.
Darn.
Can you both take a guess at where the U.S. rank right now in the FIFA men's rankings?
27th. I promise you, I've not looked at this. I didn't give jack squat about 18. The U.S. men's team. I'm saying
18
27.
Or 24. I'm going 18.
It is number 24, ahead of the Costa Rican national team. They are higher than the Costa Rican national team.
That's awesome.
How bizarre is that? I wish I would have.
Because the FIFA,
how many teams higher than that are in the World Cup right now, but I just thought that was funny. I saw Costa Rica right one step below them. I thought, how is that even a thing?
But the FIFA rankings are a joke. I mean, Gary Lineker tweeted out saying, well, the Swiss are 6th. There's no way they're ahead. It's based on the matches you play. Now, Poland was in Pot 1 or Pot A when it came to the World Cup drawings because they had not played a friendly after the Euros in 2016.
That's smart.
They specifically tried to win all their qualifications games so they could be in that Pot A and get a good seeding. Switzerland and Portugal, if Switzerland had, I think, won the group, they would have been in Pot A. But because they had to go through the playoffs, they got screwed. But it could have been a lot different if Switzerland had been one of the top of the groups with Poland. Like, it's really complex, and it's very smart. I'm sorry, Gary Lineker. Your British teams are stupid, okay? From the coach on down, typically are not the most brilliant. If Poland and Switzerland can figure out how to work the FIFA rankings, I'm pretty sure England could too. That's your fault.
Yeah, I agree. But Iran got hosed. Just saying. I mean, we need. I don't want to be in Pot 3 or 4 or Pot we were in. Like, come on.
Other big national teams that didn't qualify, that finished higher in these rankings than the U.S. Wales, number 21. The Netherlands at 19th. Let's see here. Tunisia. Did Tunisia qualify?
Yeah.
Okay,
Where's Italy?
Italy. I forgot about them. They're 20th.
Wow.
And I'm looking here real quick. The highest ranked team to not qualify for the FIFA World Cup, finishing at number 9, Chile.
Damn, that's crazy. Chile is about to go through a drought because their squad is old.
Yep, and that's the FIFA rankings for you. I think they're pretty backwards, and they need to figure out some new ELO way of doing things, and not this stupid. Oh,
what's up with the high pitched voice, Armand?
They need a coach's poll.
Mickey
Mouse.
Coach's
poll in college basketball or college football. But moving on. Next topic up for discussion. We're going to play another game.
All right, I'm going to win this one.
Week.
I have to win this one.
I bet, Steve.
1-0.
Armand, you inspired me last week when we challenged you to name 5 DC United players.
And I did.
And you did. And we congratulate you. Great job. Great job.
Y'all didn't congratulate me on the show. I was kind of insulted.
Today, we are playing a game called DC or PC.
What?
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to present you with names of either DC United players or people who are renowned, we'll say, in the personal computer world. And you have to tell me, when I say their name, you have to tell me, are they a DC United player or are they just PC? So you'll say DC or PC.
Oh, God.
So first thing up for discussion here, you both will just give me your answers and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
All right, let's do it.
First name. Is it DC or is it PC? Steven Wozniak.
Oh, that's PC.
DC.
Steven, what did you say?
PC.
And Armand?
DC.
Steven Wozniak designed the single board Apple I computer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Why did I think...
Maybe you're confused with Chris Wondolowski of San Jose, who DC just played.
No, I could have sworn there was somewhat... Never mind. Keep going with this game.
Second name here. Is it DC or is it PC? Russell Knaus.
DC.
Russell Knaus, DC.
That's right. DC United midfielder. The next name here. Is it DC or is he PC? Chris Malachowski.
DC. Hey, no Googling,
DC.
Armand.
DC.
Yeah, you said PC, Armand?
I said DC.
DC. You're both wrong. It's PC. Yes. Chris Malachowski is the founder of NVIDIA. They design graphics cards. Next name on the list. DC or PC? John O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan. God, that's such an English name.
So
that's such a soccer name, too. O'Sullivan on the ball. I'm going to go with DC.
Oh, that's so hard. But yeah, I'm going to go DC, too.
You are both wrong. It's PC. John O'Sullivan is credited with the creation of Wi-Fi.
Oh, my
Wi-Fi,
God.
the Wi-Fi.
Damn, we're stupid, Steven.
Yes. Hey, at least we're getting our soccer players correct. It'd be a lot worse if we're getting all the soccer ones wrong.
That's in DC for all four. I guess I'm an idiot.
We got three more names left here. All right, is he DC or is he PC? Steve Clark.
DC.
DC.
That is right.
All right.
He is the DC United goalkeeper. I think he's the backup, actually.
Yeah, he is. Kind of said.
Next name on the list, DC or PC? Chris Durkin.
That's DC.
DC.
DC United defender / midfielder.
Yeah.
He's really good too, by the way.
He's good.
Off topic.
I had to find people who had kind of just generic names.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Steve Birnbaum wouldn't work, huh?
Well, I'm like, you're gonna know who that is. Last but not least, DC or PC? Sean Fanning.
I'm going to go PC.
DC.
It is PC. Steven got it. Sean Fanning. He is. This might be before your guys' time because you're a little bit younger than me. He is one of the founders of Napster.
Oh, I actually used
Back
that program.
in the day. I did not. I torrented. Sorry, FBI.
Well, that's all we got for the counterattack. That's it.
TC or PC? That's hilarious.
PC.
All right, well, up next is Henry Bushnell of Yahoo Sports. Alrighty, let's talk some World Cup. On the line with us is Henry Bushnell. You can follow him at Henry Bushnell. He writes for Yahoo. Some World Cup. Henry, how excited are you for this upcoming World Cup without the U.S. men's national team there?
I'm honestly very excited. Just as excited as I would be if the U.S. were there, to be completely honest. And yeah, it really, it's starting to kick in. We're getting all the squads rolling in. After the Champions League final, the pre-World Cup friendlies will start up. So I'm completely ready. Yes, no U.S. is a bummer, of course, but I'm definitely excited.
Let me ask you, a lot of people are hyping up Germany, and I like to follow the numbers. No team that has won the Confederations Cup the year before went on to win the World Cup. Is Germany flawed?
Yeah, so I think I don't think they're very flawed, and I think the Confederations Cup thing, and even just you can also look at no team is repeated since the 70s or 60s or whatever. I think that's more just due to the small sample size and the fact that there is a World Cup only 4 years, and the Confederations Cup is obviously a much more recent thing. I still think they're very good. I think they're absolutely a top 3 team in the world. And they definitely do have a chance to go back-to-back here. I'm not sure it's their flaws, but I do think there's reason to think that they're not as good as a Spain or a Brazil, just because I'm not sure that they have the top-end talent that those teams have. Obviously, they have outstanding world-class players. They have up-and-coming young players like Leroy Sané and Joshua Kimmich. But I just look at Spain and Germany doesn't, other than, Messi is a very good player, Toni Kroos is a very good player, but going forward, it's more like players who would rank between 5 to 10 at their position in the world, rather than the absolute tippity top guys that Spain has, Brazil has, and maybe even France has, to be honest. So I think Germany's absolutely right up there, but I'm not sure I would make them the favorite.
Henry, whatever Steven said for you to come on, he's lying. You're on here to tell everyone how Iran is going to win the World Cup and how that they are going to knock off Spain in the group stage. No. But speaking of Iran, what are some of the countries that that maybe aren't really mainstream that could make a run in the World Cup this year?
So I'm being completely serious here. I actually do kind of like Iran, and
nice.
I do like Iran and Morocco in Group B, and I absolutely think both of them could. Now I don't know about Spain. I think Spain is gonna. I don't know if they're gonna walk the group, but I definitely think they're gonna win the group. But Portugal, I think Portugal should definitely be worried about both of those teams, and I think either could finish second and go through in that group. In terms of other dark horses, I actually like Morocco a bit more than Iran. I think Morocco can definitely go through and maybe even win a knockout round game, depending on that matchup with Group A. I don't know if you would call Uruguay a dark horse, but I think they can definitely get to maybe even a semifinal, maybe even a final, because they have a fairly easy road. And they're also an interesting team because, in the past, they've sort of been built on this. It's actually, despite their two most famous players being up top, it's been a pretty defensive team, and they sit back and they grind out games and sort of rely on Suarez and Cavani to do their thing up top and get them through games. They can still do that. They can still grind out games, but now they also have this new generation of young midfielders coming through that can sort of allow them to be better against teams that they should beat, be better in games where they would be favored to win. Like, I think there were only 4 or 5 of their 15 qualifiers, where they had more possession than their opponent. But now this new midfield is coming through. It gives them a little variety of the way they can play. So I think they can get to a quarterfinal, and then maybe they can frustrate teams, going back to that old defensive style, like a France or like a Brazil or whoever they would be matched up against. So that would, if you're looking for like a dark horse to get to a World Cup final, I think that's who I'd go with.
And Henry, it's pretty well known now that the U.S. did not qualify for the World Cup. Mexico cruised through CONCACAF. What's their ceiling in the tournament? How far do you think Mexico can go?
Yeah, so it's just, obviously if history is our guide here, their ceiling is the round of 16. But they definitely, the ceiling is definitely higher than that. It's interesting because a lot of Mexican fans don't like Juan Carlos Osorio, and I think a lot of Mexican fans are more pessimistic about this team than a lot of neutrals are. But I look at this team, like I see Chucky Lozano and Chicharito and you look at Carlos Vela and what he's doing in MLS right now. And even Tecatito Corona, who might not even be able to get into the starting lineup. They have a lot of attacking talent, and really throughout the team, there are some injury issues in defense, which could be problematic, especially against Germany in the group. And the issue for them really is that if they finish second in their group, they're probably going to see Brazil in the round of 16. So if they somehow win the group, or if Brazil doesn't win their group, I think their ceiling is beyond the round of 16. I think they have that type of talent, but it's a pretty tough road for them. It's a pretty tough draw. So I think the round of 16 would probably be if they don't get past the round of 16, Mexican fans can't really be disappointed or frustrated this time around.
Henry, I would say a lot of Americans are probably not going to know the styles of many teams. I know my Swiss are going to play a relatively balanced, while the Brazilians are going to play a lot more flamboyant. The Germans are going to play a lot more, very German, whatever, strict.
Yeah.
But what countries out there have a style that is just much watch?
This is going to sound really weird, but I think this new England team is actually going to be really fun. It's not the England of old. They've gotten away from this, long ball 4-4-2, whatever. They've gotten away from that in the past. But this is sort of the first tournament where they don't have big names that they're relying on, and it's sort of what you'll see. It's probably going to be a 3-5-2 that Gareth Southgate is going to play. And he's relying on a lot of players. I think like 9 of his 10, maybe 8 of his 10 outfield players are going to be from Manchester City and Tottenham, who are 2 of the most exciting club teams to watch in the Premier League and in the world. And England's style has almost soaked up things from Tottenham and from Man City, and even a bit from Man United as well. And I think that's going to make them a really fun team to watch. They're going to play out of the back. It's no more, hoofing it long. And they're going to press teams, and they're going to run a lot. They have a lot of athletes on the field. It's going to be pretty up tempo, I think. And they've had a good defensive record recently. But I think you're going to see them, especially with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain being injured, and that possibly bringing another attacking player into the team in his place. I think England's actually going to be an interesting team to watch.
Henry, today we saw the Belgium team announced, and we saw Nainggolan actually he's not going to Russia, plain and simple. What did you make of that snub? I've been reading I guess that's my problem. I'm reading on message boards, and a lot of them have been saying Martinez has ruined this generation and all this. But what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's interesting because I really rate him as a player, and a lot of people do. And if a lot of fans are managing this team, I think they'd probably have him in the starting 11, especially after the season that he's had at Roma. The issue is that it seems like Martinez might only play like one true central midfielder, and I think that's probably going to be Moussa Dembele, it looks like. And if Nainggolan's not in the starting lineup, he might not be the type of player that you want to take to Russia, especially like it seems like Martinez has sort of clashed with him a bit in the past. And maybe they, I don't want to like say anything about his off-field habits or anything like that because I just don't know. I don't know exactly what the reasoning was. But there is a chance that he's the type of player that if he's not first choice, you're better off just not having him around at all. And the drop-off from him to Dembele or to Yuri Tillemans or to Axel Witsel is not enough to warrant having him around. So while I probably don't agree with it because I think they absolutely should be able to use him and he would make them a more dangerous team here, I guess I kind of understand it.
Henry, I know a lot of people circle the African nations as to see who can get the furthest and if an African nation can get to the semifinals, as I think the quarterfinals is the furthest any African nation has been. That saying, which African squad is best fit to make a deep run in this tournament?
There are a few actually that I think could make a deep run. I think there are two teams really that are like high ceiling, low floor teams in Nigeria and Senegal. I think like you look at Nigeria's front line with Kelechi Iheanacho and Alex Iwobi and Victor Moses, and they're a pretty deep team throughout. Actually, if they're healthy, they have the talent to make I don't know about semifinals. That might be a bit of a stretch, but maybe equaling Ghana from 2010 in the quarterfinals. I think that's realistic. And same for Senegal with their balance at both ends of the field. Sadio Mane leading the attack and Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli is their main center back, and he's really a force for them. But they also they don't really have an idea of what they want to do, and their manager. There's a lot of questions about the manager. So those are both teams and they're in tough groups too. I don't think either of them would be favored to get out of their groups. So I think if they do get out of their groups, they can maybe cause some trouble in the knockout stages. But there's also a chance that they win 0 games at the tournament combined or something like that. And then the third team would be Morocco, as I mentioned earlier. They didn't allow a single goal in the final round of qualifying. They beat the Ivory Coast to get out of their qualifying group. And they do have an identity. That's the thing about them. They have an identity, and they have some talent throughout the team as well. They have a good combination of veteran players who have been around for a while, and I think more than half their roster is going to be foreign-born. They've sort of pulled players from France and the Netherlands and players that have Moroccan roots. But so there's and all these players are now they're based in Europe, and they're really experienced on the club scene. So that's a team I'm really intrigued by as well.
Now, Henry, obviously the World Cup being staged in Russia is going to be interesting as the political situation is it's unbalanced. What do you think how do you think this is all going to work out in Russia for these 64 matches?
Yeah, that's I think the word you use, interesting. I think that's the right word for it, because I'm not sure anybody really knows. And a lot of the time, what happens with these things is they get swept under the rug as much. Mm-hmm. They all of Russia's problems will be swept under the rug as much as possible. So, and you'll see, for example, you'll see Vladimir Putin will want to make his country, presented to the world as as normal a country as possible, basically. And they're gonna for example, with the hooliganism is that's obviously not really a political thing, or maybe there are some political connections, but it's probably not really what you're talking about. But after the whole debacle at Euro 2016, where a bunch of their fans basically, or probably shouldn't even use the word fans, these guys just came to cause trouble. That hooligans sort of set off alarm bells, and apparently there's been a big hooligan crackdown, and they've warned all these groups that you absolutely cannot do anything during the World Cup. So chances are that a lot of now, like there'll probably be some like travel issues, and every once in a while you'll hear about something, and there'll be people digging into like state-sponsored doping and stuff. But FIFA isn't going to do anything about that until after the tournament. As much as possible, these things will sort of. I really don't think they will affect the actual 64 games of the World Cup.
Well, Henry, since you've been with us and giving us all this preview, you have to give us a winner. So we're going to ask you to make a prediction.
Come on, Armand. It's obvious. Yeah, it's going to be Shaqiri.
It's going to be Iran.
And Switzerland.
It's going to be Italy, as that one firm thought, like giving them a 1.7% chance.
1.8.
No, but 1.8.
Yeah, I saw that.
No, but Henry, who do you have winning it all?
Yeah, so I think I'm, as of now, this is subject to change until June 13th or whatever. But I think I'm going to go with Spain. I just think Spain's the best team. And it's as much, Spain is almost, they're famous for their passing and their attacking, but I think it's really because of the defense that they're going to win this thing. And David De Gea, who right now is the best goalkeeper in the world. So, and if I'd go Spain over probably Brazil in the final. That would have to be my pick.
Juicy. We're not going to give our predictions just yet, Armand. We'll save ours for closer. But
yeah,
Henry,
we got to save ours, yeah.
Henry, Spain's an interesting pick. I'm not too sure. I just think there are a couple of squads ahead of them, but it's not a bad pick either.
Fair enough. I'll wait to hear you guys' pick later.
Yeah, you're gonna have to check. You're gonna have to check out the show. But one more last thing is we do have a shameless plug here, so go ahead and let the listeners know where they can follow you, read all your content, and the World Cup coverage that you're gonna be doing.
Yeah, so we're already underway with team previews, and we've got group previews coming, and a lot of other stuff. So you can follow me at Henry Bushnell, just HenryBushnell. Pretty simple. You can follow at FC Yahoo on Twitter as well, or just go to the Yahoo Sports soccer page. Everything is there, and you'll find our World Cup hub for all the written content and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where you can find myself. And yeah, appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Henry.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
I've been moving commas on troubling me.
Hey, nice singing, Armand. I love it, man. Love it.
Trying to make it peaceful is a trouble for me. Trouble.
Is it
anyway?
Semi Ojale has a 3.
Oh, nice.
Marcus Morris can't guard LeBron.
Definitely recording.
Al Horford's plan get eliminated in the Eastern Conference Finals. Hey.
Hashtag rigged.
Hashtag rigged.
Hey.
Yes, boys. World Cup in Russia, do you think, what type of controversy is going to be most prevalent? Off the field, or is it going to be with VAR?
Get me off the field. Donald Trump will send out some tweet and set the world on fire. We'll talk about how great Vladimir Putin's World Cup is, and people will lose their minds.
He's going to be like, America could host a better World Cup. That's exactly what he's going to say.
It'd be huge. A huge World Cup.
It'd be the biggest on the planet.
Yeah, so I think most of the controversy is going to come when Steven cries about the Swiss not making it out of the group stage.
Nah, they're going to get out. Iran's going to literally get plastered. They're going to have a goal differential of -12.
Ooh, Iran?
Is that a guarantee?
I'm not making any guarantees.
That's what I thought. Yeah, you better back down.
Is this that same Iran team that almost beat Argentina in 2014?
Yeah, well, Switzerland took Argentina to the 116th minute, then Di Maria scored, and then we hit the post 2 minutes later, okay?
I didn't know you played in team, Steven.
God, we always play.
No,
we win and they lose. That's how it works in sports. We win, they lose. Anyway, listeners, follow us on Twitter, UncSamSoccerPod, Armand Kafai, Jake Watroba, Steven Jodren. We'll be back next week with another wrapping edition with Armand Kafai.
Armand's plan.
Armand's plan.